On tariffs, the fact that last year we had an effective rate of about 2.5%. I think the Yale Budget Lab, and I believe you went to Yale, has said that effective rate is closer to 28%, the highest since 1901. I know that some of that's changed because the tariffs are on again, off again, some on again, some off again. Somewhat chaotic, I believe, as your term is what, Crazy Ivan style. I compare them to how a monkey throws dung. You're not exactly sure where they're going to land. And that's the concern I have as a small business owner, and I know Ms. Gluesenklamp Perez is as well. You know, I've got small businesses really worried. You made a comment about while cargo volumes have dropped 60%, you see this as a temporary detox. But for a small business that's getting by day to day, that's much bigger. You talked about Main Street. We want to finally focus on Main Street, not Wall Street. I think you were at a global investor conference in Beverly Hills yesterday. That's the cocktail party where you mentioned the Crazy Ivan theory. And before that, you were at a JP Morgan Chase World Bank Private Investor Summit. All those things are not Main Street, right? Main Street is an auto body repair, a specialty printer. So my concern is on the tariffs. Who pays tariffs, Mr. Secretary? No. Answer the questions I asked, please. I only have 5 minutes. Who pays tariffs?
Sorry, well...
Who pays tariffs?
Sorry,
Mr. Secretary, please.
Excuse me.
The question is very simply, who pays tariffs, Mr. Chairman? I'd like him to answer that question.
Well,
He wants to answer other questions.
well, Congressman, if the exporters, they dislike tariffs so much, why wouldn't they, if, I think what you're trying to get me to say...
Did you remember the question? I'm not sure you did. Who pays tariffs?
It's a very complicated question.
Reclaiming my time. People pay tariffs, right? Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time. You clearly aren't going to answer it. I'm not going to waste my time having you go, Mr. Secretary, reclaiming, Mr. Chairman, I asked reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman, and I asked to reclaim my time. Did I not? No, I said reclaiming my time because he's clearly not answering it. So, yeah, so as a small business owner, and unfortunately I'd like that time back since you failed to recognize me for 30 seconds. So I just recently from one of my suppliers got the tariff surcharge on things. And in addition to the tariff surcharge, guess what else got raised? American-made walnut plaques. That has nothing to do with tariffs, but companies take advantage and do that. So right now, we are getting screwed right and left because of the indiscriminate use of tariffs. That's the reality for Main Street. And you go off to Beverly Hills for private investor conferences and talk about Crazy Ivan theories. Answer that. What is the Crazy Ivan theory of tariffs that you mentioned at the summit?
Well, first of all, sir, I've had meetings with more than 50 small lenders. So I want to clarify that. I would also say that in game theory, strategic uncertainty, of which you seem to like the name Crazy Ivan.
Well, it's your words, correct? Didn't you use Crazy Ivan at the...
Well, you've used it 5 times. And
that's the question, Mr. Chairman.
I am saying the strategic uncertainty is part of negotiations. That should we say, here's what we'll accept. Please take this.
Okay, I've got your answer. Thank you. I'm going to reclaim my time again. So for a small business, we don't have that luxury, right? When the ports are empty in California and we can't get goods and people are stocking up for Christmas goods, Crazy Ivan is great for, please don't take this offense, really rich people like you, but for people like me, it's not, right? That's what makes small businesses fail. That's what makes people lose their jobs. That's what makes the stock market tank. So I'll ask one more time, who pays tariffs?
Sir, the history would show that it is a complicated mix of who pays the tariffs over various times.
In your discussions, you said you were not going to sabotage, that we had in my office, sabotage collections. Are you confident, in light of the fact that any IT, and I agree with you, we've wasted a lot of money on IT, that any IT will be accomplished within the next 36 to 48 months, and therefore justify a reduction in personnel?
Congressman, let me work backwards there. So I am confident that we will make substantial progress in the IT and right-size the payment system, the collections system. As I've repeatedly said, my priorities are collections, privacy, and customer service. And again, the substantial increase in the enforcement group, there is nothing that shows historically that by bringing in unseasoned the collections agents that results in more collections or high-end collections. It would be like sending in a junior high school student to try to do a college-level class. That becoming a high-end IRS collections agent is something that one grows into. So I believe through smarter IT, through this AI boom, that we can use that to enhance collections. And I would expect that collections would continue to be very robust as they were this year.
So I think you and I agree that the current trading system has failed working people who are turning wrenches, driving trucks, changing diapers. Could you expand on how the proposed tariffs would ensure that there is upward pressure on wages?
Well, I think that there are many parts to that, but the key to upward pressure on wages is more job opportunities. And what we have seen since what the so-called China shock after China entered the WTO was a large decrease in manufacturing jobs. And studies have shown that workers in manufacturing jobs have more potential for large-scale wage increases than service workers do. So moving more workers from service work to manufacturing, they should do that. And the administration is also trying to bring down the cost for working families.
I agree, right? If you are trying to earn a living as a barber, you have to move to a city to earn a high wage. But if you're in a rural community where there's a factory job, you can own land, you can own your home. And I think one of your points about financial literacy is ensuring that we do have economic self-determination. You can buy the pair of boots that will last 5 years and not be in this pace. But there's a lot of work to do here, building real wealth and not the nominal kind of, I'm not really here to be a defender of the stock market. Most of the people I know don't trade stocks in my community. It's a question of being able to own land, having that capital access to start your own business, and frankly, some of the antitrust work to ensure there's a level playing field for small businesses like mine. I'm hearing from constituents who have questions about their tax returns and are having trouble getting a real person on the line to speak to. What can we do? What is your plan for decreasing wait times, for having somebody be able to actually talk to a human being when they call the IRS?
Well, again, this goes back to my three priorities: collection, privacy, and customer service. So we are moving money into customer service at the IRS. And it's almost unimaginable that the phone banks had the same number of operators 24/7, 365 days a year. So if one of your constituents called on Christmas Eve, they'd probably get through because there were so many idle phones. If they called on April 14th, there was no surge to help them. So, as President Trump has repeatedly said, this is a common sense administration. So we're going to have common sense for the IRS.
I've already mentioned that we have savings achieved in contracts regarding IT services and this sort of thing, and we've saved the American public a lot. But you've also said that IT remains one of our biggest challenges, particularly within the IRS. So how is it that you're going to operate with a smaller budget that still serves the needs of the American people?
Sir, part of that has been bringing people back to the office. So on March 10th, we reinstituted a work from your office program. And again, I think it's going to be efficiency. We have asked for more money for many of the priorities. The Treasury Foreign Intelligence Network and the Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, so we will be keeping the American people safer. And again, we think through efficiency gains, the federal government historically does not have productivity increases. And as I've continually pointed out, DOGE is the Office of Government Efficiency, not the Office of Government Extinction or Eradication. So I think that it is not a big leap to do much more with less.
Are there $2.5 billion worth of efficiencies?
Well, again, just two of it is in the IT department. And if you were to look, Treasury processes about 1.5 billion payments per year, which is like a mid-sized U.S. regional bank. We have had many of these banks come in and talk to us about their payment programs, and their departments are 1/10 the size and 1/10 the budget. So allowing for the redundancies that we would need as a government agency, then we think that we do need to be bigger and more fulsome, but there are substantial savings